Hello everyone, my name is Avalon and welcome back to Troll School. This week we're going to be taking a look at one of the new additions to the game in the MechaKoopas. Now the MechaKoopas come in several varieties. They come in red, green and blue. Green are normal, red shoot missiles and blue shoot lasers. They can also be made big and given wings. The Koopas can be picked up, but they can't be thrown into anything to activate it. This includes on-off switches, as well as question mark blocks. The big Koopas are the same, in that they will not be activated into anything. Of course, Mario is not strong enough to lift them. Finally, the MechaKoopas, they fly at a consistent height at all times. There is no up or down, even though their animation appears to rise and increase. Their hitbox stays the same at all times. The red Koopa, once he's finished with his nap, will shoot rockets from his mouth. Only one of these rockets can be on the screen at any one time from each Koopa. So if there's two Koopas, there can be two rockets, and these will blow up question mark blocks, on-off switches, and hard blocks as if they are bombs. The blue Koopas shoot lasers, and they will direct the laser towards the player. The small Koopa's laser only interacts with Luigi or Mario, whereas the bigger Koopas will break hard blocks like bombs, and they will also... Why? This is what you get for that. For goodness sake. But yeah, the big Koopas will blow through hard blocks with no issue at all. And the flying Koopas can be knocked down to hit question mark blocks. You'll notice that the other big Koopa's laser does not affect the on-off blocks at the top. In this example, the door is out of Luigi's reach, and he's being shot at by an angry blue Koopa. Now, luckily with the SMB2 mushroom, you can launch the MechaKoopa into the basket and then open the door up. Now, you could build a troll around this based on either the wait here, where you wait for it to wake back up, or you could build something that bases around hiding the SMB2 mushroom so that you can't get the MechaKoopa into this basket. Another good troll setup would be a room like this one, where there is a key door and an obvious key. However, there is a one-way. So if we run across to pick up this key, we will collect it. You'll notice I actually end up with two, and that was because the MechaKoopa had one, and as he destroyed that POW, it gave me a key block. That was so that when you realised you couldn't get to this key door, you still had options on how you were going to get to the door. You have the information on what to do next. So this time, the player plays it safe. They wait. MechaKoopa blows up the power block and they collect themselves a nice shiny key to proceed. Of course, when they try to make their way to the key door, they find their way blocked, unable to proceed. Now it is worth noting at this point that if a hidden block has been revealed, a MechaKoopa will destroy it. This now allows Luigi to make his way into this next door. Below you can see a coin trail leading to a pipe. I just thought this would be a little bit of fun, because you can use the fire revealed earlier to clear the way. However, if the player chooses to not take the key door and go for this pipe, they'll find nothing. So if the player does everything in the right order, they can collect their key and proceed on through the level. In this example, you want to take the opportunity to knock the MechaKoopa to sleep so that you can climb on top of him and lift him up a level. And that's because the player cannot reach this question mark block up here, no matter how much they'd like to. However, a key hidden in a question mark block will be given to you if a MechaKoopa destroys that block. With the Koopas, it is worth noting that the lasers will always point towards the player. They aim for the player with their laser attacks. You can use this for a lot of interesting trolls. If we take this here room for an example, there are two options for the MechaKoopa to shoot their laser. Now, I've set them up so that they're flying and they won't shoot unless Mario or Luigi or Toadette jumps. However, if you took a jump on this side, the laser would hit that power block, blocking the door forward with the bullet blaster. However, if the player chose to jump on the other side, they would simply find the way forward opened for them. The Koopa Blasts themselves actually have a limit to how far they will travel. So as you can see, that top block still left 6 blocks unexploded. This has a lot of uses, which we will go into now. Now you get a situation like this where the player might need to jump to avoid a Koopa Blast to find themselves a power block so that they can clear the way to the Muncher. However, they'll find themselves stuck here. If you do put this in a level, please give the player a way to die that springs out of this pipe once the Muncher has been cleared from the way. Because the correct route was, of course, this now revealed pipe down here with the arrow indicating it. So if the player can test their metal, they will find the laser does not quite reach them, and coins are revealed. Now, one thing to note, sheer luck, I like the way the Muncher lines up and reveals the Koopa laser into the player. You can give the player situations like this, where it may rush them up into that section above, but actually a one-way will also stop the laser, preventing the player dying here. However, if they are rushed up, they will find themselves in this position here, where this power block will destroy that Koopa. So mixing that with this theory, where if you use these coins above to indicate, a POW will come out of the red pipe. I'll show you that again. So a POW comes out of the red pipe below me, which then the MechaKoopa will kill itself on upon use. So putting all of that together, you find yourself in this position here, where that Koopa that just fired its laser may cause the player to rush to jump up this semi-solid here, when actually there is a POW coming out of the pipe that hopefully they wouldn't see until they'd got up here. They can then use that to clear the way and make their way through this pipe over here. If they had rushed themselves up, they'd find themselves in a very different situation. So, your player has rushed out, realising only too late that the power block is right there, but they have no way to get back down to it now. So they can find themselves here, where unfortunately you can't really get past this MechaKoopa, or you can design a way they can't get past this MechaKoopa, and it forces the player up here to these spikes, where if only they could kill themselves, there's actually a bomb and a CP1 marker. The CP1 takes you back past the pipe so you can see the POW that you should have picked up in the first place. Another fun way to use this is in races. So as you see there, that MechaKoopa has just destroyed all of these blocks, preventing the player from making their way through that door. This is requiring the player to be fast to get into the door. Now this race technique can be used multiple ways to force the player to make quick decisions. Now remember, when you are making troll levels, although you can put in challenges like this, they still need to be easily repeatable once the player knows what the troll is. And that brings us to this section. Another way you can cause a race is this vertical section here. So if I do that without those blocks, there is no way for me to get up to the top of this pillar. So you must race the MechaKoopa to get over this pillar before he destroys the blocks. This can be used with distractions, such as up here, what's going on at the top there. Oh no, you were too slow. An SMB mushroom has come through. So this is actually relevant for multiple reasons, and I'll get into that momentarily. Having taught the player to rush through like that, they may find themselves in a situation like this, where as they ride this lift down, they see the SMB2 mushroom reveal itself. With this mushroom, of course, they are able to make their way over the top without the need for the blocks. And it's the only way that they can survive coming down to this section here. Now this MechaKoopa has a different setup where it can't actually blow itself forwards, which means you don't need to worry about how that platform is going to get destroyed. You merely need to worry about how you're going to get into the pipe. So now that you've realised you've got time and you don't have to rush, you can look around the room. That will reveal this bomb, setting off this mechanism here, which unfortunately leaves you trapped in this small hole. Now again, if you are doing a proper level with this in it, you must make sure that there is a way for the player to die in this section, whether you use the launcher to be an extra one down or something like that, I'm not sure. Just make sure there's a way to get the player killed. So, Assuming the player doesn't rush past the one-way, and they successfully activate this bomb to release this launcher, they can find themselves a way over here to stand on this green mushroom, where bombs will excavate the way forward for them. Now, I would suggest making this a little bit faster because it is quite a slow pace, and that is something I want to talk about at the end as well. Finally, this section forces you to race a POW, which you cannot make as a player. However, once the MechaKoopa does blast his way through, you'll actually find the flagpole was hidden there all along, and this pipe merely takes you back. So of course, the correct final action is to ignore the POW, let the MechaKoopa reveal the flag, and then make your way to finish the level. Now, these races can be jazzed up in a variety of ways, in creating distractions through shinies and such to slow down the player, or you can hide the MechaKoopa off screen so that it destroys the wall less expectedly. The most important thing though is that if you are creating a challenge for the player, that it is something that is easy to complete once they know how to complete it. Finally, I thought I'd go through some trolls in my current level that I'm working on. So firstly, these bombs blow up your way forward, requiring you to jump across this gap and find yourself stuck here, where a MechaKoopa will blast you away. So of course you might try and outrun the bombs blowing up your path forward, and jump over the MechaKoopa. However, unfortunately, you'll find munchers falling upon you. Those who have been watching more carefully would have seen that an arrow is actually revealed at the bottom of the screen here, where there is a small ledge for you to stand on, while the MechaKoopa clears the way. This allows you to get over the top of the MechaKoopa and onto the next section of the level, where the player will climb their way up to find themselves trapped, unfortunately. Now there is a MechaKoopa up here which will reveal the way forward for you, and as you can see it is telling you at the top of the screen you need a POW block to kill that MechaKoopa. So you can collect your keys, but you cannot progress forward without that POW block. So this is where you saw a POW block earlier. It's under this key door, but you may not have seen it because you needed it to use the key door. Luckily it's SMB3, so you can pick up the POW block and take it up to the top with you. Now you can use it to kill this MechaKoopa, collect your keys, and drop down the other side. And make your way through the first key door. But oh no, you're immediately going to be shot, so you have to jump out of the way. Only to realise that, of course, when a MechaKoopa shoots a POW block, they do die. There is nowhere for the player to go. Luckily, there is a reset mechanism at the moment, but I might fix that for the level. So if you wait, the MechaKoopa blows up the POW block, killing themselves and everyone around them. Next you find yourself in this section here, with this Koopa that will blow your way forward, hitting that POW and blocking yourself off. If you make it through this pipe, you'll find a hint, which is designed to show you that Koopas have a limit to how much they can shoot through, and a POW will stop them. So hopefully the player learns they need to move the POW block out of the way, so the Koopa blows themselves forward, revealing the pipe. So, with the MechaKoopas, there's probably about as many uses for the blue ones as there is uses for bombs. The advantage to these, of course, is that the explosion is multiple times, whereas a bomb, obviously, you ignite it and you throw it and that's it, done. Whereas these blue ones, they can be knocked out by jumping on them and then moved using SMB2 mushrooms, or however you want to do that. You can line them up so they're off screen and they blast across. You can control how far the laser goes by using blocks in between. And also they're quite a menacing appearance, whereas a bomb floating towards the player wouldn't concern the player. A laser charging would force the player to make quicker decisions, which is what you want in a troll level, is those quick snappy decisions that a player's making, which causes them to make mistakes. There is one word of caution that needs to come along with MechaKoopas, and this applies especially to both the red and blue variety, in that they are slow. So if you have a checkpoint that then has to wait on a blue Koopa to charge its laser, or if you have to wait for, say, a red Koopa to launch its rocket and then it to move to a particular place, it's going to create a long wait time. So when you are creating these sort of challenges around that, do think about the pace of your level as you build them in. I think the MechaKoopas are going to make some really interesting troll levels, and if you guys do make any troll levels with them, please put the level codes in the comment section below. If you want to see the setup for any of these trolls, then join the Discord, which will be in the description, and there is a section there for all of the setups for all of the trolls from the entire series. So if you want to get better at making troll levels in Mario Maker, then keep an eye on this series where we'll go through each component over time. If there's a component you want me to bring up specifically, or a specific troll you want me to examine and describe how it works, then please put it in the comment section below and I will look at it as soon as possible. My name is Avalon, and this has been Troll School. See you next week.